Let's move into the next segment of the program. And my next guest is Rev Margaret Fowler. And there is an article in one of the newspapers here which says, "Don't give up on the church, pastor tells gays." Well, this discussion about gay rights and LGBT rights has certainly been in the news recently. Every newspaper that you pick up, there's a discussion stemming, of course, from the firing of Brendan Bain at the University of the West Indies. Some people are claiming that the gays have an agenda, and the gays in return are saying there's such a thing as hate speech, and we must not condone hate speech because hate speech can be very costly for gays. There is such a thing as mob violence. There's such a thing as collective rape. All these things that are happening, and the society does have to be serious about it. And as you were saying, Mr. P.J. Patterson has weighed in on the issue recently, and he's calling for tolerance against gays. So this is a discussion that is the public domain, and we have to look at it and we have to examine it. And now we have Pastor Fowler, Reverend Margaret Fowler, who has weighed in on the subject from her particular perspective as a pastor in the church. Welcome, Reverend Margaret Fowler.
Good morning.
And your church, tell our listeners what church you belong to.
I'm a minister of the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands.
Is it a church that ministers to LGBT or to all people?
Well, I believe the United Church ministers to all people, and we work within the doctrines and understandings of our faith. And in light of the gay argument, we certainly follow the Jamaica Council of Churches perspective that, that the lifestyle we believe is not in keeping with the Bible, but certainly we would never advocate violence against gays or whatever. And as I say, I'm sitting here looking at the Jamaica Council of Churches paper this morning, and it says it's clear that those with the political agenda are placing much pressure on societies like Jamaica to change their cultural norms and values. And I think that's one thing that we have to be careful of, that Jamaica must make its own decisions without outside influence.
All right, so let me be clear now.
Mm-hmm.
Your church doesn't minister only to LGBT, or it does, but it does share the views of the Jamaica Council of Churches.
Yes.
That the so-called gay lifestyle goes against the teachings of the Bible.
Yes.
So what does that mean? So that is a contradiction for you then, because you do subscribe to the Bible's view that this goes against the grain, but yet still you have you're ministering to LGBT. So how do you bridge that contradiction, that dichotomy?
It's very challenging. It's very challenging, but I feel that I cannot go against my church's position, right? And I will not do that.
And what does that mean when you cannot go against your church's position?
Well, like when it comes to the issue of gay marriage, I have a challenge with that. There's no doubt.
You're against gay marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
But
and are you against the gay lifestyle, the so-called gay lifestyle?
Yes.
You are against it as well? Okay.
Yes. But there's always a but. These arguments are not clear-cut, right? Even although I am against these things, I believe I still have a duty as a minister to pastor to people, whether they're gay or whatever. I have a duty as a minister to pastor, to engage with people. If I want to talk to people about their gay lifestyle, then I have to have the courage to go and talk and engage and dialogue. Right? I am not going to just condemn and say everything is wrong. And that's one of the challenges in Jamaica. We have to stop this two-way argument.
But let me ask you, but how the headline here in the newspaper says, don't give up on the church.
Don't give up on the church.
But why should,
not the enemy.
but hold on, but why shouldn't gays give up on the church? Because you have said that the doctrine of the church is anti-gay. So if a person is gay, why would he or she want to find solace in a church that regards them as sinful? Why would they want to find solace in the church?
But are we not all sinful?
No. But the church judges them as being sinful. Their so-called lifestyle as being sinful.
There's a whole lot of sinful lifestyles within the church that the church embraces.
Yeah, but I know, but the church seems to pick out the gay lifestyle as being the most sinful it seems.
I don't know that it picks out. I don't know that it has a category that ranks in worse than
well,
let me say what my perspective is. That I have to find a way to pass this to people, right? And that's what I've been trying to do. And I have said from day one that, I'm not going down the theological and biblical argument because I know what it is. Right? And we have discussed it in many church forums, but we have to find a way to bring the dialogue in the public domain in a more civilized way. Right? We have to be tolerant of people that are different.
So who are you addressing this to? You're addressing this to your fellow church members like Becky and Blaine and so on, who are out there campaigning against gays and the gay lifestyle and the gay agenda.
But that's not going to help us. How is that going to help us? We have to learn to live with each other. How is that going to help? So I'm coming out with my campaign and we have another demonstration. That's not going to help us. Because how I got involved with this, this was not on my agenda to get involved with. But I happened to engage in the gay young men that are living in the gully in New Kingston. That's how I got started. And when I saw them, when I saw them living in these less than humane conditions, I had to say to myself, this is not right. Whether they're gay or not, this is not right. And that's the kind of argument I think the church needs to take in this pastoral role. Because at the moment, where can the gays go for counselling? They can go to J-Flag or whatever. But I'm a counsellor in the church, and so are many people. And the church needs to bridge that kind of gap with people and say, come and let us talk. We don't want to ostracize people, right? The church, and I'm reading here from the Jamaica Council of Churches thing, the church affirms its pastoral role and so appeals to the church as well as the wider religious community not to speak or act in ways that could ostracize, incite violence, or any other treatment of indignity towards persons who are homosexual, as they too are bearers of the image of God and for whom Christ died.
So this is being said, this is a position taken by the Jamaica Council of Churches.
Yes, and it says the church must be ready to support families who have to cope with the implications of homosexuality. That's what I'm trying to do.
So in other words, you're saying that the Jamaica Council of Churches has given a commitment to not advocate violence and discrimination against gays, and then you're calling upon them to live up to that commitment.
Right, because the Jamaica Council of Churches and my church, the United Church, would never advocate violence against individuals. Never. Never. So we need to engage. If I want somebody to come to Christ, I have to engage with them. I can't just preach on a Sunday and say, come. Right? There has to be some
So Reverend Fowler, if Reverend Fowler, somebody is gay and they come into your church, what are you going to tell? Are you going to tell them that they must, and they accept God, they believe in God, but are you going to tell them now that they can't go to heaven unless they change? And they will tell you that that is the way they were born, and that and so on. How do you deal with
Well,
that?
you see, that's a whole technical argument that I don't
Technical.
think. Yeah, I think it's a technical argument about whether you can be born gay.
Mhm.
You know, now.
I mean, scientists, a lot of scientists seem to believe that people are born gay.
Yeah, and I think that's some evidence that we need to put out in the public domain for discussion, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't know that the whole chromosome thing and whatever, and we need to
I mean, you know, you don't choose to be heterosexual. You discover that you're heterosexual and you're attracted to the opposite sex.
Right.
And I guess the same thing applies to somebody who's gay. You,
I mean,
you didn't choose it that way. It happened, and it that way.
There's no doubt that it is a difficult issue for Jamaica.
Yeah.
But like the former Prime Minister T.J. Patterson said, we have to try to live with everybody, and we cannot allow this homosexual issue to split Jamaica, and that's what's going to happen, because some of the churches don't want to engage with the people, don't want to talk to them, just want to condemn.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I want to try to see how, as a Christian, as a minister, you know, I can listen to them, I can try to help, I can pastor, I can minister, I can offer counseling.
So how does it work then? I guess, is that an Irish accent that you have?
No, I'm from Scotland.
From Scotland, I'm sorry. No offense, then. How does it work in Scotland then? Are you more tolerant? Do you forget about the theology, the technical stuff, as you are now advocating, and just let gays are created in the image of God, and
Well,
so on? Have you worked that out?
Well, the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, in actual fact, this month may have just debated the gay issue, and it's a challenge within the religious community there. But what they have said is that they hold the position, the same as I've said, that the gay lifestyle, you know, biblical, theological, etc., gay marriage, but they have also now said, well, because it was a debate about whether they should ordain gay ministers, they have now said if a congregation wants to call a gay minister, that's okay. If a congregation doesn't want to call a gay minister, that is also okay. So it's a kind of middle of the road position, you know.
So it's not all hunky-dory.
It's not all black and white.
It's not black and white.
It's not all black and white. I am trying to walk the middle of the road, which is very challenging, but I feel I have a duty to minister to people, and I want to do that, whether you're gay or straight, black, white, whatever. Right? That's my task. That's what I am called to do, and I am going to do it to the best of my ability.
Well, it's interesting that you should give that position for the Council of Churches, because that's not what I see on the protest march that they had outside the University of West Indies. I see people like Reverend Al Miller showing up. I see people like Reverend Harold Blair, and they don't seem to be tolerant.
Well, you see, that there's a split within the whole Christian community, just as there's a split within the gay community, and I mean we need to come together. But you know that within the Christian community, there's the Evangelical Alliance that will have a different position to the Jamaica Council of Churches. But I think the JCC have tried to sensitize people that we do have to be tolerant, and that we cannot come with, you know, this constant, you say something, you trace me, I trace you back. We have to stop that because we're not going to get anywhere in the argument. Nowhere at all. And, you know, we have to agree to differ. That I might have a different position from you. But, you know, we have to work together.
Yes. But to take it a step further, though, I would say to a gay person, because I'm an atheist, and I would say to them, why are you wasting your time in the church? Because it's never going to change. And
you see, you can never say never, right? Because you never thought there would be a black president in the United States.
Yes.
Or you never thought Nelson Mandela would be president in South Africa. So you can never say never.
Yes. Yeah, we see, but...
Hello? Hello?
I think you're having a technical difficulty.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, fine. Yes. Sorry, we just lost.
You see, I think in the gay community there are people that want to come and worship, right? So why should they be denied to come to a church on a Sunday to worship God?
Yes. Yes, and as I was saying, so long as the church...
Even atheists are welcome. Yeah.
Okay. Even atheists are welcome.
Even atheists are welcome, yes.
That's interesting. But, you know, I like to have theological debates with religious people, you know, because I say to gay people, because so long as the church is based upon this theology, and the Bible and the Old Testament and so on, if they're going to say, well, listen, let's not take this thing seriously, you know, you can pick and choose what you want, then perhaps there is some possibility that gay people might be accepted in that kind of thinking. But so long as the Old Testament remains the foundation of the church or any church, you never know when the tide will change against you. And somebody is going to say, well, this Leviticus or whatever it is says that, you know, damnation be unto you for what you do.
Look at the argument with women in the church, right? If it wasn't for, you know, pioneers in ministry like Rev Margaret Fowler, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, a minister. Because, you know, women were ostracized and were put at the back, and thank God, you know, we've seen the light. You know,
let me ask you something. I'm trying to be a little provocative here now. Would you be offended if I tell you that my reading of the Bible suggests that Jesus was gay?
Well, that's not a new argument.
No, I'm asking you, would you be offended if I said I think Jesus was gay?
No. Why would I be offended? that, you know, if that's your reading, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, because he had a very special relationship with John, and you remember that?
Yes.
And John, he especially loved John. There's no report of Jesus ever having a girlfriend or a special female friend, no hint of any sexual relation with a woman.
What about Mary?
And Mary, well, it seems to be platonic in that particular case. And,
but that's not a new argument. You know, that's been researched, and there's another side to that say that Jesus, you see it coming to light now that Jesus was perhaps maybe married to Mary. You know, these are not new arguments.
But if he was gay, I mean, if he was gay and all these people are hitting out at gay people, then you're worshiping a gay God, a gay son of God, right? Hello?
No, I'm not going there on a Friday morning.
I beg your pardon?
I said I'm not going there on a Friday morning. But
you're going there on a Friday morning?
No, but these are not new.
Because you know other gods were gay. I mean, Zeus was bisexual, I mean, Zeus had relations with women and he had relations with men.
If you look through many societies, right? If you look through many societies, there's a whole lot of things, you know. So there is nothing new under the sun. But I am praying that we can be tolerant of people, we can appreciate different sides of the argument, right? If you come to me, I'm not going to turn you away.
Yes.
Right? That's the most important thing. Yes. You know, Jesus did not turn people away. He engaged people where they were at. He showed them a new way of living, a new way of doing things. But most importantly, he showed the love of God for humanity. And that's what we have to do. Because in Jamaica we sing about one love, one heart, and the next thing, you know, we're tracing each other. Come on.
Well, even if we have theological disagreements, I certainly support your call for respect of everybody, and I salute you for that.
Yes. So, and as I say, I will never turn anybody away. I have my views. Right, and keeping with my church.
I wish I could have this kind of a conversation with Jamaican pastors and reverends. And maybe it's because you're from Scotland, special place.
I've been here a long time. You know.
No, but I'm making a dig at our. I don't know if you get it, but anyway, thank you very much. It was lovely speaking with you, and I hope you'll come back again and have another conversation.
And remember, there's a place for you too.
All right. All right.
Okay,
take care. All the best to you. All right. That was Reverend Margaret Fowler. This is the morning edition. My name